So now we're going to start here. I want to welcome everybody to energy healing. What is energy healing and how can it help you? My name is Ricardo Kmentt, and I have been working at the Carillon for about now 10 years. And I'm one of the energy healers there. And today, I'm going to share with you what this is all about. And at the end, you will be able to ask any questions that you might have. So let's start. So I want to also to mention before we start, we have created a fundraising webpage for people to donate for people that are struggling in these times. So we would appreciate any donations that you might be able to give. And this is the page right here. Thank you. So what is energy healing? How can it help you feel better? Understand how energy healing really works. What are the benefits of energy healing? What are energy blocks, and how can you release them? And if they affect your physical health. So the first thing that I would like to, ask, you don't have to answer, but what is it for you, energy? Because most people don't see the energy, and we think that it's something invisible that we cannot trace or we cannot actually touch. So it is, energy is everything. If you look around, everything is energy. Your body is made of energy. Yeah. The chair that is holding you is made of energy. Everything is made of atoms, of blocks of energy. And the human body also has energy that is constantly moving. We have blood, we have fluids moving, and we have energy. So this energy sometimes can leak out of the body and make us feel very depleted, very low energy. Or we can have too much energy and we can feel very vibrant. Have a lot of energy throughout the day. Or we can have blocks of energy. Something is blocked inside. But energy is also things that are not necessarily something that we cannot define. Blocks of energy can be emotions that are blocked. Anger. We know that some of us carry some anger, or sadness, or fear. That is also energy that might be blocked inside. When we're born, when we see a baby shining light. And throughout the years, the baby start feeling fear, start feeling some anger, some things that the baby doesn't have, and it starts having some of those blocks in their bodies. So energy is also stories that we carry from the past. Trauma, some events that have happened to us, some broken relationships, some issues that we have had with our parents through the years. And we have the capacity to block some of these events, some of these emotions, some of the things that we don't like about ourselves, that maybe we feel some of the shame. And where do you think we put these? We put them here, in this amazing vessel. And we become very good at blocking and resisting to remember the experience of these issues that have happened to us. And for many years, it works. We can function. We're very young. Although some young people also may accumulate a lot of these blocks inside. So we have these emotions, and our own culture, society will tell us, anger is not acceptable. So we learn very early on in life to swallow it down, to suppress it in our system. or fear. The first thing that we do to be able to, when we are fearful of something that is happening to us, is we start breathing a little shallower. We kind of breathe deeply. Or sadness. We don't want to feel weak in front of people. If we lose somebody in our life, we tend to just suppress that in ourselves. So where do you think we hide our anger? In what part of the body? Well, we know that anger is usually stored in the liver and gallbladder. We know that sadness and grief is usually stored in the lungs and the heart. We know that worry is stored in the stomach and fear in the kidneys. So what is an energy healer? So an energy healer is somebody that have studied these blocks and how to move them, how to remove them out of the body. And here's where I want to introduce a little bit more about myself. I went to a school that is called the Barbara Brennan School of Healing. There was a time in my life that I didn't know how to walk in this planet anymore. My life didn't make any sense to me. And I felt a lot of suffering, a lot of confusion. And I ended up in this school where I thought I was going to help to heal others. And quite soon I understood that I was there first to heal myself. And I started a 4-year program in order to trace down these blocks, understand my fears, understand my sadness, my anger, and how to transform that. It's been a very intense, rigorous training to peel off some of the layers that were separating me from a deeper and more healthy aspect of myself. After that, after going to that school for 7 years, I studied Chinese medicine, which is another form of energy healing. The Chinese studied for more than 5,000 years ways to move the energy of the body, these blocks, with needles and with herbs. So that is my background. And slowly but surely, I started to heal myself. And as soon as I started to do that, I was able to start helping others do the same. This is how I came about to be an energy healer. I want to show you a slide. Some people call this name the aura. And the aura is just energy that is emanating from the perimeter of the skin. And some painters, if you see some old paintings, you can see the aura. So healers are trained to be able to see this aura, which they refine the way of seeing. They become very, very acute in looking at what is the energy that is surrounding and penetrating people, how they move, their body types, and also where are these blocks of energy in the body? How much anger is a person suppressing, or sadness, and where is the sadness? So we study human beings. We study the anatomy, the physiology of the body to see where are these blocks. And then we have some methods to be able to help the person move that away. It's almost like bring it out. Because after a while of having all these blocks, we start losing the ability to focus, the ability to feel peace inside, the ability to feel love and joy, and the ability to sleep at night, to listen to the others, and to really fully understand life. Because we're so clogged with all this information that keeps piling up. And we go to school, we go through life, we get married, we start our careers, but we don't know how to press delete and to peel off some of this data that keeps accumulating. Images, stories of the past, relationships. Our own mind starts to get confused and distorted. And we're not able to feel a lot. I usually sit with people, and the first thing that I tell them, what are you feeling? And people usually say, well, my mother told me, or my boss. Well, I ask you, what are you feeling? What do you mean? So we're losing the capacity to feel. And there is so much information that we have here, but throughout the years, we became very good at clogging and stopping our ways to perceive, to have this intuition, and to take in others. So energy healing is that process of pressing delete, of releasing things that we don't need anymore, and uncovering again the light that emanates from within ourselves. So this slide here, if you look, this lady has a pronounced block in the lower part of her body. And it has a pretty deficient energy field or aura. It's very thin and very undercharged. And also in the center of her body, she has a distorted, what we call a chakra, distorted chakra. So this big block, the energy healer will attempt to remove this energy block and to restructure the energy around that lower part of her body. And energy block in this area of the body will signify different types of issues in the physical, in the emotional, in the mental, and in the belief system of this person. For instance, she will have issues in the physical aspect, like fibroids, cysts, infertility issues, but also in the psychological or emotional level, she will not feel her own power. In this area, we feel a lot of our own power and a level of love and acceptance towards the self. Also, there is sexual pleasure in this aspect. So if there's a big block here, we're going to have issues with our own sexuality, our acceptance of ourselves, the ability to feel sensual. So there are different levels, not only physical, but emotional, mental, and spiritual. So once the energy healer uncovers that and starts to move that, also we're going to look at what are the beliefs that this person carries about herself. Maybe there are beliefs like, I'm not good enough. Or my mother repeated to me that I was not as good as my brother, for instance. So I grew up with this idea that I'm never good enough, or there's never good enough for me. So in this next slide, I want to show you that after a while of these blocks being there, there's not enough energy, enough blood to move through the vessels, to move through the organs. So there's going to be a condensation in maybe the movement of blood and fluids, and we may manifest a physical condition. So this is what I'm trying to explain to you. How does it shift from an energy block into a physical disease or physical aspect? So sometimes we may be dealing with something physical that is happening with you, but we're going to trace it down to see what are the beliefs, what are the emotions that are suppressed there, what are the thoughts and stories that are behind that. So in this case, we're going to see a fibroid or a cyst. And there is a way the healer can operate that. The healer can remove the energy, the stagnated energy or the block of energy. And we can also shrink the fibroid or the cyst. So like I mentioned to you, a healer spends many years dealing with their own energy field. So after a while, you can carry more energy. Sometimes, we have these big energy healers. I would like to mention just the Dalai Lama. When you go and see the Dalai Lama and you enter this big hall, you can feel the energy of the room, even like a block away from the place, the arena, because they have worked on their own issues, their own sadness, their own anger, their own fear for years. So they have filled up, and then they have more energy. So in this picture, you see after the assessment that the healer will make on the person will lay down on a table, and the healer will begin at the feet of the person, usually providing an overall charge of energy to the patient's field, to the client's field on the table. So there is a transmission of energy. The healer is very grounded, very connected to the Gaia, the center of the earth, and up into space. And all the energy centers, which we call chakras, are open. There's a lot of breath. So the healer is bringing a lot of energy inward into their own energy field, charging their own energy field. And then they place the hands usually in the body, providing this charge of energy. The person is laying down on the table, and after a while, 30 seconds later, usually people fall asleep or go into a semi-conscious level. For me, it feels like going inside the person's life, descending like an elevator into the person's life, into the skin, into the flesh, into the bone, into the cells, into the atoms. And there's a place inside of us, that I go so much deep inside the person, to the very center, in which there is a lot of peace, a lot of goodness. All the aspects of God that you can imagine are inside of us. While we descend, while the healer is descending, there's a lot of charge of energy into the person's body. We start getting information, start becoming very quiet, very still. And many times we get information about, some of the blocks of this person, some of the aspects of this person that are not working in their life. We get information about some physical issues that the person may have, or some relationships that are distorted in their life. But as soon as we hit the very center, we find this goodness in everybody. I have not found anybody that doesn't have this center in which we find peace, we find love, we find compassion, found absolute health, wisdom. All of the aspects that you may think about God, we have them inside. So the healer usually moves throughout the body, working, repairing the energy field, and uses the hands. The tool of the healer is not a machine. It's our own energy field. It's our own body, usually the hands. And the hands, although we cannot go inside, we cannot cut, the energy of the hand can go inside. It can go inside organs, it can go inside bones. And throughout this long training, we'll learn how to modulate and create different frequencies to repair the physical body, to repair the emotional body, by removing some of this stagnation out, or by connecting again some of these avenues of light. But there is a place when we go inside the person that is laying on the table, in which we hit a place that is so deep in us that I call the unknown. It's like a beautiful night, very dark night at night, very deep space. And in this space, usually I don't have to do much. It's almost like we touch the soul of the person inside. And then I feel a lot of energy that starts to move through the person's body. because the body regains its own ability to heal, and it starts to regenerate, reinitialize, recycle. And some people, you'll feel some of their stories go very quickly through the mind. They remember and they see people. And, they feel some of these emotions coming out. So at the end of the session, the human energy field becomes very well charged and becomes more clear. Usually when people sit down, I ask them, so how do you feel? Oh, before that, there are no thoughts. People sit down and the mind is absolutely clear. It feels like there's nowhere to go. It feels like we know the place that we occupy in our life. It's a very freeing moment. And most people, I would say 90% of people say they feel a lot lighter. They feel that they can breathe. Some people feel taller and feel like heavy because there's some anchoring into their own body, their inside. And they feel hope. They feel goodness. They feel good. Those are precise words that are repeated over and over and over again after every session. And this is not something that takes a long time for you to, many sessions for you to feel. You feel it in the first session. So this is who we are. We are a star in the center of our body, like I said, in the very center, in the depth of who we are. We have a bulb of light that emanates. It's called the core star. Some religions call it prana, the Buddha, the Christ self. And this light, this bright light, sometimes when we're disconnected from life, is frozen inside. And what the healer does is expands the light out. Sometimes in a healing, because the vibration becomes very bright and very heightened throughout the healing, we have access to different dimensions of energy. We see our dimension we're able to see, but it doesn't mean that in this dimension there could be other forms or templates of energy. And sometimes we can see silhouettes around the healer, or people, a lot of times they tell me, oh, I feel like a lot of hands were touching my body. And it's because sometimes, the healer is being helped, is receiving help from other beings that arrive to do very complicated surgeries in the spiritual aspect. And sometimes we have a physical aspect. In this picture, you see a muscle that is containing a block of energy, and it becomes very tight. So the healer is able to remove some of that stagnation, or some of the blocks can be inside the bone, containing a lot of energy, a lot of heat inside the cells and the atoms of the bone. And it can really damage the bone. So the healer is able to restructure the lines of light around the cells of the bone. So this is a picture of the energy field, which correspond to all the layers that makes us who we are. The mental aspect, the physical aspect, the emotional aspect, and the upper layers are the more spiritual aspects of who we are. And finally, the chakra system. And now in a few minutes, I'm going to open up for questions, but I would like to tell you that energy healing, as soon as I wasn't able to see people because of their safety and my safety, I started to do long distance healing sessions. So a healer is trained to do long distance work. It doesn't matter where you are. a very well-trained healer is able to expand their core, their energy, and healing travels throughout space and time. So I'm offering a long-distance energy healing. I've been doing healings for the last month and a half with my clients, and it's really powerful. From the comfort of your home, you can receive this work. So the way we do it is we meet for like about 10 minutes online through video, and then I make an assessment. We talk a little bit of what is happening, and then you lay down in the comfort of your home, and then what I'll do is I will start charging my energy field, and I will project my energy to where you are. And the results are powerful, are very noticeable. So that's something that I offer, is available to you. I will be coming back and offering other topics, talking about different things. So before I open up for questions, I would like to just remind you, if you want to donate, to look at our this web page that we have created for people that are in need in these times. We would really appreciate any donations. And I will take questions. I want to thank you for coming today, and it's been a pleasure to be here. And I will be opening now for questions. I have one now. Says Catherine, are there any minerals or substances we can have around us that help us with energy healing in our homes? Absolutely. You know, it's we have right here. I have a quartz. This is a quartz, and this will help you ground. It will clean, also will absorb some of the energies of the home. And also here, I have this very powerful rock. It's called a tourmaline. It's pitch black, and it absorbs, blocks of energy. It also absorbs any type of energies that are foreign. We have many different types of energies that we may absorb. Amethyst, it's always good to have some minerals in the house, and we can charge them. If we have a full moon, we leave them outside throughout the night, and then throughout the day we put them under the sun. And if you bring those minerals, those rocks, into your house, you will feel the difference. It's amazing what can happen. Would I feel anything after the session? Yes, absolutely. You will definitely feel, if you are having a session with an energy healer that has been properly trained, you're going to feel more grounded. Usually, you're going to feel more alive, more connected to yourself. You're able to feel who you truly are. And sometimes it becomes a little bit worse. You're able to see where are the blocks, what are the patterns that you're falling into. Because healing is not only, I'm going there just to feel good, but it also makes you face your own demons, or the own aspects of yourself that are defending or stopping you from achieving your potential. From Anna, which exercise do you suggest to help your energy healing to get better positive emotions? Well, there are many things that we can do. If you have the ocean, in front, and you want to jump into the ocean in salt water, that will clean your energy field. That's one of the ways. Physical exercise also moves your energy. Prayer is also good. Meditation is also good. And of course, a healer will also help you question some of your negative thoughts, your negative beliefs. But for that, it's good to have somebody that is outside of you that can look at you, because they're going to be able to see where is it that, you have all these prayers, these thoughts that are going against you. They're negative because sometimes we cannot see that by ourselves. But the ocean is really good. Doing some physical exercise, breathing techniques, meditation, yoga. Are there any breathing practices you recommend to calm down your energy? Any breathing techniques are amazing. It's the one that I can give you very, very quickly. Breathing inward and outward 10 times. Like, okay, one, I'm going to show you one. Everything out. Take a deep breath in. If you can do 10 of those, that would be the first step. As soon as you become comfortable doing 10 of those breaths, you can practice until you hit 70 of those. If you can do that, you will feel totally transformed. But it takes a lot of practice to do that. Hello, everyone. I'm reading some of the questions here, but let me see. Oh, from Gloria, how does it work with anxiety? It's a good question, Gloria. We're feeling a lot of anxiety now. Energy is also we live in a universal energy field. So from time to time, you're going to feel that you get sucked into this fear that we see everywhere in our culture. Even if you don't watch the TV, you're going to feel some of the anxiety that is in the universal field. And that's very palpable now. That's why one way to deal with anxiety is to really take a walk and really feel every step that you take. Connect to Mother Earth. You can sit under a tree. You can hug a tree. And that will ground your energy. And look at your mind to see if you're projecting into the future. There's a saying that says, if you want to have panic, have a future. If you want to have panic, have a future. And anxiety is a form of fear. It means that you're looking too much into the future. You're thinking about your finances, you're thinking about something's going to happen to you. So one way to deal with this is to say, hey, I need to bring myself here to the now, because here, now, I'm safe. Because if you're looking into the future, you're out of your body, you're projecting into the future. And if you are in the future, who is here with you? Who is in your body? You're somewhere else in the story of the future. Nobody's here. So you're going to feel ungrounded, and you're going to feel fear. And that grows into panic. So those are other aspects that I could help you, or a healer can help you overcome that. That was a very good question. So now I'm going to answer the last question. Oh, can we get a copy of the presentation? Yes, of course. In 3 days, we are going to send you an email with the video, and you can forward it to friends and family, to whoever you want, and you can have a copy of that. All right. Well, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. I promise that I will come back with very exciting other ways that we can have to heal ourselves, and I will give you more explanation about this world of healing that I have so much passion to. I think I hope that I have given you something to think about, and that you have enjoyed this presentation. Thank you, and please Be safe. Send